Om Shanti. Today is Murli of 28th June 1973.
Om Shanti Didi, we can't hear you.
Aji?
We can't hear you.
Can't hear?
No, it's very feeble. Maybe you can try using off the hands-free if you're using a hands-free.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, this is okay now. So we'll
Okay.
start the screen again.
Okay. Thank you. Today's Murli is on being yogyukt through thoughts, words, and deeds. So the Murli Baba has talked about the method of being yogyukt. And Baba said that to be yogyukt means to be able to have complete control on the thoughts. When there is control on the thoughts, only then that will reflect in the words and the deeds. So, and to have complete control means to be able to put a full stop in a second. And Baba has compared the spiritual to the military army. Just like when the army is given an order to stop, they have to stop no matter where they are. So Baba is saying that no matter what you are doing, when you say stop to yourself, then one should be able to stop. So that much power in the thoughts is needed. That is the yogyukt sthiti, where you have enough, where one has enough power to stop one's thoughts. So if I am having the power to control my thoughts, then definitely I'll be able to control my words and my deeds. So today is the Murli on 28th June 1973, and the title of the Murli is By Being Yogyukt, your thoughts, words and deeds will automatically be yogyukt. When the physical army received a martial order to stand to attention somewhere in a second, if they took time to think or understand this order, what would the result be? Their plan for victory would not take practical shape. In the same way, the sign of those who are to become constantly victorious will be that they will be able to stop their thoughts in a second. You may be busy in carrying out some physical task or in churning knowledge, but even in such a time, you have to stop yourself in a second. Even when those people are running very fast or they are involved in a tug of war, if they are told to stop, they stop. In the same way, If at any time you have any other thoughts, that is, if instead of churning, you have to stabilize yourself in the seed stage, are you able to stop in a second? Just as you're able to use your physical senses as and when you wish in a second, so you have a right over these, do you not? Have you claimed the right over your intellect and thoughts in the same way? Do you have the practice of being able to put a full stop when you want? Do you think you have the stage whereby instead of going into expansion, you're able to put a full stop in a second? When you go to get a driving license, they deliberately make you deliberately make you increase your speed before telling you to stop, before making you brake. You practice this, do you not? So you have to practice making your intellect work and then making it still. It would be said to be a wonder if you're able to stop the intellect at such a moment in a second. A constantly victorious soul is one who has yogyukt thoughts, words, and deeds, and who does not allow even one thought to go to waste. That will happen only when you have this practice. For instance, there may be some service where you have to claim total victory. So, at such a time, practice putting a stop. Such a time will come when the whole haystack will be on fire, will be set ablaze. In order for you to save others from this fire, two main things are essential. When the fire of destruction is ablaze everywhere, the duty of you elevated souls at that time is to give the donation of peace, that is, to give the power of success. What do you need to do after that? Whatever everyone needs, their needs would be fulfilled. What needs of theirs would you need to fulfill at that time? At that time, each one will need a different power. Some will need the power to tolerate, some will need the power to back up, some will need the power to take decisions, and others will need liberation. In order to fulfill the hopes of others, you will need the power to make peaceless souls peaceful. So Baba is asking us to be able to give the souls what they need, and it will not be the same for everyone. So to be able to give peace in a second, how is that possible? So I was saying that you'll need the power to make peaceless souls peaceful in a second by giving them the introduction to the Father. So you have to accumulate these powers from now. Otherwise, how would you be able to give them the donation of life at that time? You will have to give all souls of the entire world the donation of powers. You have to accumulate so much stock that on the basis of the accumulated powers, you will be able to continue by yourself and also give to others. No one should be deprived. If even one soul is deprived, who would bear the burden? Those who have become the instruments to give the donation of life. So check the stock of every power of yours. Those who have accumulated a stock of all powers are visible as the lucky stars sparkling amidst the souls of the world. So now you have to have such checking from the time You wake up at Amrit Vela. You have to make yourself move along the rails of attention. A train would run well on the rails. So you have the responsibility for the whole world, not just for Bharat. Every action of elevated souls is great. So check throughout the day. Did I speak any such words? Or did I have any thoughts in my mind? Or did I perform any wrong deeds? Let there be attention to every thought in advance. By being yogyukt, your thoughts, words, and deeds will automatically be yuktiyukt. Acha, Om Shanti. So that was today's Murli. So take a minute to reflect on what was said today in the Murli. Om Shanti. So the Murli today was very short, but the task that is put in front of us is something that requires constant practice, and it's a high order to be able to put a full stop in a second.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
I love Baba's example today of increasing the speed before putting a brake while getting your driving license when you're tested. Very nice example, and actually that's an important thing for us to practice, especially for me, where you're really involved in your activities and work, and then you're speeding up, you're doing multitasking, and then you should be still able to stop immediately, at least in your mind, like the focus goes back to remembrance while continuing to do whatever you're doing. And it's a good example of the brake and the car. Thank you for sharing. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. I just had a thought about what sister said now. Okay, that to get a license, they just want to know, do I have that energy or power in me to, that mental power to really stop the car? Because when I'm in front of a situation, another accident or somebody crossing and all, we need that power, the power to know how to stop, or else I'll run over them. Fine. But sister, should it apply to me? Why should I really increase my speed of thoughts? Why always coming to thoughts? I'm not talking about the brake or the running of the thing, because I always, whenever I see even a vehicle running fast, I just say, what is this? Are they running a race or something? Why can't they go slowly? So even though, yes, it's a good test, I feel if I practice of really going slow with my thoughts, not overboarding with all waste thoughts, that would really be a good practice. Should I always just increase my thoughts and then put a break? I was just reflecting when Sister shared. If suppose I could get something out of it.
Yeah, I think we have a habit of naturally the habit of going into expansion and creating thoughts that go pretty fast. So I don't think we need to practice that. We are already quite practiced in doing that. The practice that we need it now is to put a break. So sometimes even when we are doing the churning, so when you're churning, also you're creating thoughts, and they could be one thought after the other. They may not be as fast as when they are waste, but there's still a lot of thoughts that one is creating. And even then, when one needs to put a full stop, it's important to realize that, okay, now let us put a full stop to this. So that is the practice, definitely. The focus, I think, in today's Murli has been to be able to have that kind of a control on one's thoughts, because if we don't, we'll lose out on time and energy, and also because of that we'll not be able to accumulate the powers that we need to. So
Om Shanti. Sister, I would like to share one reflection that the example which Baba has given about the military is very apt, and as the objective of the military army is to win, and in any challenging situation or come what may, they should always win. So the same way, as a spiritual army, the soul has to be always on guard. It cannot be off guard anytime, cannot afford to, because if we are off guard, then definitely the Maya will attack, and even 1 second can be resulting into a defeat. So it's this example I really liked, and putting a stop means that power to suddenly come to the incorporeal stage. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Yes, and while you were sharing, I was just remembering that you may have experience of both the armies, right? Given you being the in the defense services, I think you have practiced both by now, and that's coming out of all your experience.
Yeah, in the military we practice this guard of honor and all. So in the guard of honor, every split seconds are also they matter, and all the soldiers have to be in the same frequency. Split second, everybody will do the same act, and if there is a difference, then that is not seen in a good light. Immediately some punishments are given. So the practice is such that the order, the marshal gives the order, they have to follow that at the same second. There cannot be delay of even 1 second. So the same applies to spiritual purusharth, that and often sometimes in spiritual purusharth we fail. I have personally observed in my spiritual purusharth, I have failed many times when some waste thoughts come, and I should have stopped the very moment, but then it doesn't stop, and that shows the soul is weak. So we have to accumulate. Baba speaks about accumulating stock of power, so that I am able to stop when the intellect says, Srimad says stop, we should stop. Om Shanti.
And the practice of traffic control is one of the technique which supports us to practice this stopping of thoughts in whatever situation we are. That's a practice that I'm taking, which I've been falling off from last couple of days of practicing traffic control, which is one of the techniques to put a full stop to multiple thoughts at a given point in time. Om Shanti.
Just to add to the reflection which I said earlier, I was just thinking there has to be a meaning if Baba has quoted in the Murli about stop and all. So I think it can apply to a situation. Suppose I'm excited, I get angry. What do? You know, they tell in Lokik world that just close your fist, go and drink a cup of water. So that kind of power, energy, which is going to drain my power goes off. Maybe in such thing, I should have the power of putting a full stop. If suppose I don't have a full stop, I put some other punctuation mark, all the venom which I had in my body is going to go out. Just like when suppose I don't stop the vehicle, all the thing distraction, because Baba will definitely have a very unique meaning. So I was just churning. Some reason has to be here if Baba is mentioning about stop and all. So I thought I must say, yes, that was a beautiful, that is where I need stop. And I remember when we were young, we used to say hands up, freeze, stop. We used to play that game. And then we used to do all the craziest things. So all these things, the exercises and all, I remember, which really makes me the exercise of stop.
Om Shanti. So I like this line that Papa says, you know, when the fire of distraction take place, our duty just reminded that, you know, we'll be responsible for giving all powers that are required, and that to different powers at the same time. So someone would need tolerate power, backup, and, you know, decision and so on. So this is something we'll have to fulfill others' desire. Okay, so in order to fulfill that, we must be full in that all the stock. We should have all the stock. No one should be depraved. That's what Baba says. So, so we have to accumulate all the powers, not just one or two. Just like nowadays, we know that big bazaar, right? Big bazaar or any bazaar we go. So we find everything there, all the house needs, clothes items or grocery item, vegetable, fruits, everything in one shop. We can just get in, right? So similarly, we also should be running a spiritual big bazaar, which is of all powers, right? So only then we should be able to fulfill others' desires, because everybody would need different things. So in order to fulfill each one's desires, so we must be filling our stock with all powers. That's what Baba reminded us here. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So anyone else wants to share anything?
I like this concept of big bazaar. Brother, big bazaar is available just by a thought. And you know, it's not just a big bazaar. I don't think you can see any other bazaar. And in this big bazaar, everything is free. Just go there, and it's a right, you know. You can just enter that big bazaar. You can, all treasures are open. But what to do? There are some conditions. Time limit is there. The morning time is the best time when less people will be going there. And even the storekeeper, Baba himself, is sitting there happily opening up all the treasure stores. So I think if we really want, because I remember the same Murli which you read now, sister, a few days back, it was like stock of all powers. There, Baba had very nicely said, how can you accumulate and keep a 6-month supply? And I like that word 6 months because I thought now May is going on. Maybe Baba is talking for this Abhyakt Murli Club only for the next 6 months. So I think it's time now we all of us go and gate crash in the morning in that Paramdam gate, and then we can pick. I think that is the best bazaar one could visit. And you don't need any ATM card or any bag or anything. Just go and fill. I like that concept of Paramdam as a big bazaar.
Om Shanti. I think the two most important attributes are attention and constant practice, which Baba has highlighted in this today's Murli. Because in the military also the attention and constant practice during peacetime is very, very important and a prerequisite for the victory during the war scenarios. So that is one. And second is the waste thoughts. Baba says there are 63 births have been creating these waste thoughts because of body consciousness. So they have sort of become a natural sanskar. But at the same time, Baba reminds us that putting a stop, that power to put a full stop to the waste thought, and again by deciding in the that point state, Hindu Swarup, this power is available and it should become a natural sanskar, which is an original sanskar, Anadi Swarup. I think this also awareness will help, and the more we practice we do, and we'll be more victorious, more time, and this I think I will take this as a takeaway for myself. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
I just wanted to add, sister, one small thought that came to my mind when we are talking about the speeding up, and like the earlier sister and brother were saying, so many different examples. Sometimes speeding up could also be linked to a physical increase in heartbeat, increase in your pulse, increase because of the environment around you, where it could be tension or it could be excitement or something. And at that stage also, if you can freeze it at any point, just with remembrance, and bring your body under control, is one more reflection which came to my mind. And the other is, it may not be physical, but it's just so much of activity around you because of your daily involvement in your work or wherever. And at that time, if you can continue to put a stop in your mind while continuing to do the work, is the challenge which I feel Baba is trying to tell us. It is easier to do things when everything is calm and peaceful. The challenge is, if you can do the same meditative state, you can reach amidst all the chaos, amidst all the things going on around you, and you can keep going back and forth in a blink of a second, is the stage I would like to be at. Om Shanti.
Yeah, very true. I guess that's what supposed to be a yogi life should be, because when we go through our days, right, when nothing challenging comes across and everything goes very well, that means there is nothing much that we are doing, right? So let's say a day there was no challenge, everything was normal, then everything will go very well as we plan, or according to our desire, right? When there is a challenge, that's when actually our yogyukt stage, or the meditation or anything that which we are practicing is actually measured, right? So the whole idea is, when there is a challenging situation or there is any chaotic situation, how well I can handle that situation. That's where yogi is really measured. When the situation is normal, then even the Ajnani soul would handle every situation very well, right? So when the situation is bad or chaotic, the Ajnani soul will also be in a chaotic stage, right? So the difference here is those who are practicing yoga or meditation, they are supposed to act in a or stay in a yogyukt stage when there is a chaotic situation or upheaval situation. Yeah, that's where we each one of us can really judge us where we stand. Very nice point. Thank you.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti. Om Shanti, sister. Yes, I like that way when the sister said about that pulse racing. That's what even the doctors try to do, to try to. And see, even a yogic, they are all a process. So I remember Baba had mentioned in one of the Murlis, you should have a Maharati way of checking to have a control over these three things. What I think, so have the habit of not to think waste, to control my waste. And are my words powerful? So the words, so if I have a practice of to think clear, not to think waste, not to speak waste, but powerful words, and to bring about elevated divinity in all my actions, maybe that exercise may take me to a yogic stage, because I don't think so I can reach that yogic stage in a second when I'm in front of It's just like saying become an angel suddenly. I think it's a practice. So I was just thinking, why should I not have that way of checking from right now in my thoughts, in my words, and in my deeds? Sister, I just had one or two questions to ask you if you can share. Baba is talking about powers. Okay. So one thing I know, at the time of destruction, Baba is saying, Jo chahiye, what they need, each one he must give. So I know we need the power to discern, which Baba had run a very big Murli on that. But can you say, what is that which fills me with power? What is that which drains me of power? If suppose I know these loopholes, then I can, whatever that seal, M seal I can put on it. So could we have something about what fills me with power and drains me with power?
Om Shanti. It's a good question. I think you can look at it in a different way. And that is to understand that I am powerful. So I can be in that consciousness, and the power is always there for me to use. But the challenge is, or the problem is, that we are more used to letting our powers slip off, not use it, not be aware of it, through overthinking, wasteful thinking, through going into expansion, and there could be various reasons for it. So that is what drains me from my power. So the waste could be a result of not understanding things in the right light, um, or not having the practice of uh, controlling my thoughts, just letting it loose and just run around as much as it wants. And when you run around a lot, you get tired. So that is physical tiredness, and this is mental tiredness. When you have a lot of thoughts on something, then you will be mentally tired because you've used up a lot of your powers. And to use a lot of powers could be a sign of not understanding something properly. When you understand things, like for example, something happens and you know that when you remember the point of drama, that everything that has happened or is happening is pretty accurate, and you accept it for what it is rather than trying to change it or to question it, and you preserve a lot of your thoughts, your energy, and that accumulated power, that accumulated energy will help you go in the right direction to make the right choice. And if you make the right choice, it will lead to the right conclusions, to the right answers, right? To where you need to be. And even if I understand this is where I need to be, but I have used up all my energy, then I may not reach my destination. And so the practice is to be aware of my thoughts, to be able to use my knowledge to put a full stop where it is needed, to be conscious. The Baba said that even when you're thinking of knowledge, even when you're churning and you're told to stop, you should be able to stop. So it's a great it's a great strength to be able to do that. It's a sign of great inner control where you can just stop anything at a given moment. And to stop is to, there could be many, I think we should turn on what helps one to put a full stop. Om Shanti.
For me, what helps me to put a full stop, what has worked for me over the years, is I just experience that divine connection, and I just visualize that whole light is around me. And it's like, I'm empowering you, I'm next to you. And, I don't know, this thought just comes to my mind in an instant. And just the thought that, why did I forget that God is always with me? Baba is always with me. Like, just that thought and that visualization just empowers me immediately. It's like that constant remembrance, So and then I've tried to practice, like you're having in a meeting and, discussions are going on and I'm talking and I'm trying to practice that I can still keep that visualization going on. And I've succeeded to some extent, not perfectly, but I'm working on it. But now I can know that I can be talking like I'm talking to you right now, and I'm doing the visualization along, So it's like that remembrance is the key. Om Shanti, at least for me. I don't know, everybody may have a different technique. I'm just sharing. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Yeah, I agree with you, sister. But if you just take it even literally, see, when a sentence, when we were young, we were taught the meaning of a full stop, meaning of a comma, meaning of a semicolon, and all we were taught. When should these punctuations be used? Sometimes whenever I learn, I used to find a sentence so long. I used to wait for that lovely full stop because I wanted that sentence to stop. That was too much putting in my memory to memorize that one sentence. But then that full stop was not a complete end. It was an end only to that sentence. Then again, another sentence began, and again, I had to look for that stop. So similarly, I feel, yes, I might have put a full stop, but was it a permanent full stop? Or did I just stop to continue again that venomous battle earlier, just because Baba said full stop, I said, okay, let me stop. But was it a firm full stop? As if you say, yes, if it is with his remembrance, then that energy, it may be a full stop. Otherwise, I think we just put a full stop to continue again. If I had put always a full stop, I would have attained a very good stage and I would be flying up like a Maruti. But what I feel we do always is a temporary small foot stop because that was taught in my lesson. For me, I feel I have not still put complete full stop.
So another thing which I do, talking about what you just said, I don't think too much about where I failed. If the semicolon had to be put, as long as I'm in constant remembrance, trying to go back and forth. So where the semicolon, where the comma, why worry about it? Just go with the flow. I mean, enjoy the moment because he's holding your hand, right? He knows exactly what to do. And As long as there's that feeling of deep surrender, enjoy that as well. I mean, it's okay, fine. I mean, there's a comma, there's a full stop. It's over now. It's the now that's important. So you just get back to whatever you're doing. That's the way I'm trying to progress. I'm not saying this method is the right or wrong. I don't know, but I'm just sharing what I practice. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So there is probably something more to churn on this. More than churning, it's probably, if you practice something through the day, or if you practice something with more attention. So the practice itself gives you more learning. How do I put a full stop? Because Baba has said that when you put a full stop, only then can you get full stock. So to be full of stock of all powers, because that is what is needed at the destruction time, where there would be souls who would be needing, who would have different needs. And as the instruments, it's our duty it's our responsibility to give souls of the world what they need. So to be able to do that, I have to have variety stock with me. So Baba said that pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your thoughts, and me myself, I should be full of stock. I should be full within myself. I should be able to have a better control, have complete control on myself, on my and be a master in a way that all my energies, all my powers are within my reach, so I can use it to help others. And that is the purpose, to be more spiritually powerful myself and to help others in a very chaotic space. Because the end time would be a space where it is going to be so chaotic, and there would be so much noise, both physical and mental, outside. And only a person who's centered, only a person who has been able to stay within and not think too much can be of use to themselves and to others, to give out what is needed at that time, to respond to what is needed at that time. And when one is full of that power, it is easy to discern, it is easy to decide what to give to what person, in what situation. So the more one practices putting a full stop, the more I think we'll learn, and from that learning one can become better and better at using one's energies in a very fruitful way. So let us go into that reflection. Putting a full stop means applying a dot. So applying a dot means, again, being in the consciousness of being a soul, pinpoint of light energy. Also to remember my connection with all the dots, all the points of the world, my brother souls. And my ultimate connection with my Supreme Father. Baba has given me the understanding and the knowledge of the drama. And to apply a full stop of drama. So the more I practice being centered, the more I am in silence, I have the consciousness, the awareness of my powers. And as I stay in that awareness, as I remember that I am the child of the Almighty, I myself am powerful, like a shining star. Baba's light shines on from me to all my brother souls. And I say center in this consciousness. Try to practice it throughout the day, visualizing myself as a shining star, remembering the dot. I am a dot, Bindi. Baba is also a Bindi. And to remember, put a full stop of drama as we go through the various scenes in life. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Reena Ben. Thank you, Divine Family. We meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.